Greetings, I'm Craig Smyser with 1835 Realty.
And I'm Michael Zook with ZookEatsAustin.com, and today we are here at InterStellar BBQ.
We've been waiting to do this one for a while on this episode of Discover Austin Eats. All right, so InterStellar BBQ, Michael and I both love this place, and we've loved it for a long time.
Long time.
But now everybody knows about it. Why?
Okay, so very recently, 2021, InterStellar BBQ was ranked #2 on the Texas Monthly Top 50 Barbecue across the state. I will say, back in 2019, I called it.
That's right, you did.
As #1. It's my favorite, still is my favorite.
Yes. So Michael, how did they get to be #2? What is it about this place that makes them the #2 in Texas and #1 in Central Texas?
Yeah. So I can just tell you what I feel. And what I feel is the barbecue, as it's cooked, is as good as anywhere. There was no place that did it better. Except InterStellar started bringing in like really delicious sides, like the smoked scallop potatoes. You know, then they introduced these peach glazed pork belly cubes. It's like there are things that I can get here that I can't get anywhere else. And so this quickly became my favorite because they were doing little twists on old classics.
Yeah. I mean, for the longest time, Texas barbecue was the same decade. And there's nothing wrong with classic Texas barbecue. We love classic Texas barbecue. But it's this new generation, and the top 50 list is full of these new generation places that are putting a new twist on the old classic.
Well, and that's the problem with the old classic is tradition says you must do it this way every time. And InterStellar is like, there's no tradition. We're gonna make really good barbecue, and we are gonna open the world of flavors to really anything that we want.
All right, so this amazing spread of barbecue and sides has arrived. Pork belly.
Let's start with the signature. This is the peach glazed pork belly. One of my favorite things on the menu. This one's for me. You can have your own. Yeah. Here we go. It's so peachy.
And this is a labor of love making this, because it is the number of times that they glaze it, smoke it, and glaze it, and smoke it, and it's a repetitive, and you know, like everything smoked, it takes a long time to make.
Slow smoked right next to the brisket, same smoker.
Yep.
That peach glaze is outstanding. And I think it says a lot about like the chefs. We're not dealing with just pit masters. These are chefs that have worked in restaurants around town, and they're doing things with barbecue that no one else is doing, which is why we're here.
Exactly.
Okay, the second thing we're gonna try, this is gonna be the slow smoked lamb shoulder, pulled lamb shoulder. And this right here. I'm gonna try to find some crunchy, barky pieces.
And the pulled lamb shoulder is a special today. They always have a few specials, so they may not have this when you get here, but they'll have something extraordinary.
And if you didn't know, you love pulled lamb shoulder.
This is so good.
I'm excited for you. This is fantastic. Yeah. Shall we go brisket?
Yeah, let's go brisket.
And we're just gonna go right into the
king
of all
barbecue.
Right here. Burn-ins, brisket. One for you, one for me.
Thank you, sir.
We're going in. We had that long conversation with Warren before we started about how much effort it takes to get this bark on the brisket, and how some really old school Texas style would just scrape the bark off the top. And I'm so glad that things changed because the trimming of the fat on the top of the brisket so that it renders down just to where the end of the cook you've got all that bark, because there's so much flavor in bark. God, that's good. Okay, how about we go a little bit of turkey, a little bit of rib, a little bit of pulled.
Okay.
And a little bit of sausage. Just grab the rest of the meat.
All right, sounds good. With the turkey, this is done up in, I get marinated in beer, and then it is smoked, so that's why they name it Tipsy Turkey.
And this is maybe the most moist turkey I've ever
Oh,
This is really great.
their turkey here, like I said, is everything on this menu is extraordinary.
Wow.
They just know what they're doing at InterStellar.
We've got this little end piece of, oh God. This just a,
It's just got
just
a
a
single,
modest
just one.
piece of rib.
That's all right. I'll take a little bit smaller piece. How's that sound?
Wow, this is fantastic. This is perfectly cooked. It's a great balance of when you pick up the bone, the meat holds, you give it any tension, any pull at all, and it just comes right off. But I like that consistency of holds on the bone, and then the second you pull it, it just breaks apart.
Well, they have increased the amount of meat that they are smoking every day by, I don't know, probably a multitude of 3, 4, 5, and it still tastes the same as it did when they earned that ranking. Just love it.
And if you have any connection with any chefs, and you ask them, they'll tell you this is the hardest thing to cook. Let's take brisket for example. It's a 12 to even 20 hour slow smoke. You've got to make sure that the fire is consistent, because even an inconsistency of 30 minutes or an hour can change the flavor. Like everything has to be exactly how it's supposed to be for this really long period. Then you pull it off, you let it rest, you hold it. It's very finicky. The second you slice it, it starts losing juice. And so there's a very short life of when it's at its peak. And so the fact that they're doing something like this that's so consistent, I think really says a lot. This is the jalapeno popper. I've had this many times, it's awesome. Jalapeno cheddar.
And their sausage, they make it here. It's got some brisket, some pork, and this one's got the jalapeno and the cheddar. All right, should we dive into the sides a bit? Let's start with the signature side that they have here at InterStellar, the smoked scalloped potatoes.
Obviously you need to be here, you need to be eating this. Get here early because this side actually sells out quicker than any of the others. Oh, it's so good.
Extraordinary.
The cheese is great. The smoke on the potatoes is great.
Yeah, the crunchy
I know
layer
you're
that
taking
you get
all
on
the
top.
time.
I know it. Snooze, you lose.
My favorite thing on the whole menu, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, ranch-style brisket beans. Craig's not gonna partake.
Yeah, I'm not a bean guy. We've been over this in prior episodes. But these are pinto beans done up ranch style. They've got brisket thrown in to the mix.
What I also love about beans that are done that way is that they're just sitting, kind of cooking and staying warm all day, and so those beans really cook through and break down. And the breaking down of those beans turns the water that's in there into like a gravy. It's like ranch-style brisket beans soaked in gravy. It's just incredible.
This is a tomato cucumber. It's got some onions in here. I love it. It's nice and refreshing. It's cool. It's it's kind of hot here in Texas.
Makes you feel like you're eating healthy. Makes you forget about this tray.
Yeah.
Great way to survive the meat. And this one is
The jalapeno coleslaw.
Jalapeno coleslaw, which I believe they put on their sandwiches. Awesome. A lot of crunch.
Potato salad, very, very much a classic.
More cream based than it is like a mustard base.
Yep.
But I love it. There's some really good crunch in there too.
Yeah, I think they've got some celery in there.
Onions, celery.
Yeah. Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Lots of
We've got-
crunch on the top. You take the first spoonful. All right, I
He's
don't
a
want
good
to take
guy.
all the crunch.
All right, let me take this crunchy crunch. Oh, I love that they're using my favorite pasta, which is cavatappi. This is the undisputed king of mac and cheese noodles. This is the one you're supposed to use.
This is the one we're supposed to use? All right.
It's got all those swirls. It's got the hole in the middle. It grabs onto that
Captures the
cheese.
cheese. Absolutely.
Well done. Cavatappi, everybody.
There we go.
Cream corn.
Cream corn. I love corn, and I love cream corn.
I love cream and I love corn. Oh, that's great.
That is good stuff.
This is the classic brisket taco. Tortillas made in-house, flour tortillas. And right before it's served, they brush the flat top with beef tallow, heat it up, top it with brisket. There's like this cream sauce. I'm assuming it's some kind of pepper and probably lime. So we're gonna cut this in half and go for it.
I thought you guys were gonna like Lady in the Tramp.
Lady in the Tramp, and then a giant slice of brisket. I didn't talk about.
I think that was kind of self-explanatory that it was on there.
It's brisket.
That tortilla is great, and surrounded by the brisket that we know is just phenomenal.
When the food is so good, you stop talking.
We generally don't just sit and enjoy it, like throw in some brisket, lean back, close your eyes, and just let it sit there for a bit. This is that level of food. I'm waiting for the pimento.
Roasted pimentos, cheese, sriracha. Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, I know.
Picture me later on the couch eating this straight out of the...
These guys they're not changing the barbecue. They're taking what's there and they're kind of moving it to the next level.
And that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing playfulness with flavor and no restraints on, oh, it has to be this way. And that's why this is ranked number 2.
Yeah.
Or for me.
No. So y'all need to come down here. We're so blessed in Austin. It's just the incredible barbecue that we have throughout town and throughout Central Texas is amazing. But if you have not been to InterStellar BBQ, you have got to get here. And if you've been here, you know you got to get back.
He's right. I live down the street, so I'm better than you.
Well, I'm Craig Smyser with 1835 Realty.
And I'm Michael Zook with ZookEatsAustin.com.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Discover Austin Eats. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Discover Austin. So you don't miss future episodes, go ahead and subscribe to our channel.